Hello, and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live weekly chat. I have no idea what you can see. To me, it looks like the screen is really zoomed in on my face, and I have no idea why. For those of you who have just joined me, I had lots of trouble tonight with getting on the chat window, so I've now re-entered the live chat via Chrome. So I'm hoping that I will be able to see the chat window now. In fact, I can now see it, but the screen is incredibly close. So okay, right, I popped open the window. So let me know. I can see James Medford, hello, I can see Jen, and I can see HW, finally, and also HA Bracken. So yeah, so the problem seemed to be that maybe YouTube's having some problem with the normal browser, Internet Explorer, and I'm able to get the chat window in Chrome, but I have no idea what the camera is doing. So please let me know. What can you see? Do you see the okay, so James says it's very zoomed in. So you can see it really zoomed in. I have absolutely no idea how to fix it, and I really do not even think I should, in case I mess it up and lose you all again, which I really don't want to do. So I do really apologize if you have an incredibly zoomed in look at me. Scary. Yes, so I don't know how to unzoom it. How do you unzoom it? Okay, control room. Let me see. That's volume. Camera. I don't know, what have I done? Okay, I clicked something. What do I do? No. Okay, I'm back. Okay, what's this? Is that volume? Okay, I've never done this before, so I really don't know how to even zoom in and out. Okay, I'm just quickly reading something. I mean, I never normally adjust my camera. It just does it normally. So I have no idea why it's zoomed in. I can only assume it's because I'm doing it through Chrome, but I have no idea why that would make me look really zoomed in. Tonight's chat is just being basically dreadful. It's a nightmare. I hate it when things technically go wrong. It is an absolute nightmare. And I have no idea how to adjust the camera zoom. Okay, I'm going to ignore the camera zoom, and I hope that you can bear with me and that it's not so much of a problem. Lisa Young says, glad you're back. Dawn says, yay, jumping up and down for clapping my hands. James says you can see the colour of my face better. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Okay. And the chat okay, this is all just really weird because in Chrome, the chat window that I can see, at least I can see one, I'm not complaining, but the writing is so small, I'm having a really big difficulty trying to read it. James Med says, Prince George, security breach, what's the situation? I will get there in a moment. Okay. H.A. Bracken says, everything is fine, quit worrying. I am a little bit of a perfectionist, and if something isn't quite right, it really bugs me. And I'm not really happy that the camera is really zoomed in, and I don't know why, and I don't know how to fix it. That really bothers me a lot. It really bothers me. So I'm just seeing if I can see a control panel, maybe? I don't know. Let me just see if I can see a control panel. Okay. There's something that says control room. No, there's nothing with a zoom there. Cameraman. What is cameraman? Okay. No zoom on that one. I have no idea why. Okay, I don't like it being this close, but if I move any further back, then I can't read anything in the chat window. The first Mrs. R says, thank you for keeping at this so we can have a chat this week. I literally was about to go off, but then I suddenly thought, maybe try it through Chrome, because some YouTube features, like when you're trying to edit videos from YouTube, don't work on Internet Explorer. You have to go through Chrome. So I'm wondering whether they've turned off the chat feature for Internet Explorer and you have to do it all through Chrome. But of course they don't tell you, so I didn't know. Okay, Jamie says he prefers the chat window like this. Personally, I don't. Okay, I'm just going to ignore all of the problems I've had tonight. Can I start again? Please let me start again, because I mean, I'm not going to log off and start again, but I'm going to start again as if this is the first time I've come on tonight. I mean, it's actually 38 minutes late. And I don't like being late. I don't like things going wrong. I don't like not knowing how to fix things once they have gone wrong. I don't like the fact the camera is really zoomed in. I feel a little bit all out of sorts right now. My tea is cold. And I just feel like this is an absolute disaster. It's my chat annus horribilis. I thought I had an annus horribilis a few months ago, but no, this is my chat annus horribilis, my worst nightmare. So I'm going to just start again, and if I have to squint to try and see what you're saying to me, but at least I can see. So hello and welcome to another weekly Royal Reviewer chat, and I hope you've all had a very voluptuous week. I know I have, and there's been so much going on with the royal family and lots of rumours, which I'd like to debunk, because there's been lots of fake news and people speculating about things, which really drives me up the wall. And as I'm in a little bit of a mood tonight, shall we start with all the debunkings? So one of the rumours which I have to debunk is that Meghan Markle has met the Queen. It's been reported widely that Meghan Markle has met the Queen last week, if it's to be believed. Now, the reason why I haven't covered that on this channel is because it is speculation. There's no proof. She hasn't been spotted up at Balmoral. Prince Harry hasn't been spotted up at Balmoral recently, and of course he has been back in London working. So apparently this meeting was said to have taken place on the 3rd of September. There's no concrete evidence Harry or Meghan were indeed up there. So I haven't reported on it because it might not be true. So all these people that are going around thinking that Meghan's met the Queen, it's possibly not true. So, I mean, it's not impossible. Harry could have gone to Balmoral and taken Meghan if she's in the country, but we don't know that, so I couldn't actually say. So so be aware, be wary of that story. Meghan Markle may not have actually met the Queen. Another story that's going around a lot right now is the royal power struggle at the palace, which kind of started with the Queen's private secretary, Christopher Gate, I think his name is, G-E-I-D-T, Gate. He resigned, and it was reported that it was because of the royal households kind of wanting to merge together because of Prince Charles, and this sort of plan that at 70 he wanted to kind of take over and take control. Again, that is just a pure speculation story, nothing confirmed or denied. Kensington Palace, Clarence House and Buckingham Palace did issue a kind of joint statement saying that basically everything's fine, and they aren't going to comment on individual people leaving, and that Christopher had a good 10 years and that he'd resigned. Now we can only guess and speculate as to why he resigned, but of course nothing official. There are no official plans for Prince Charles to take control. There's nothing to say that Charles and the Duke of York tried to oust Christopher Gate. So again, I haven't reported on that because it might not be true. I think we will see a furthering of the sort of gentle succession, the gentle handing over, and that will inevitably involve a lot more communication between the separate royal houses. And of course, Prince Charles is well known for wanting a more streamlined monarchy, and I think that will happen when he does become monarch. But until then, I think there will remain 3 separate kind of royal courts, I suppose. Buckingham Palace still remaining the main one. But I think there will be a lot more communication, a lot more open communication between the two, and well, 3. And I think that's where we're at. So I don't think there is this sort of power struggle. I don't think there is this huge ousting. Maybe Christopher left because he didn't like the change, but change is inevitable. And I think, everyone just needs to go with that. Candice says, I just want to give me a big hug. I would love a big hug right now. And Dawn's sending a big hug too. Okay. Jamie says, when I watched the video of Camilla naming the ship, I couldn't get over how regal she looked. She did indeed, especially with the glasses. I can see the future queen. Yes, I mean, she did look very regal, and she was performing her duties impeccably. And I agree. I think, by naming the ship, it's kind of cementing even more her position and what her future position will be. Dawn says that you like the fact that Meghan may have met the Queen, if indeed she has. And of course, as soon as I know the official truth as to what. Let's just go back to one other thing about Meghan Markle. If indeed they have got engaged, as most people suspect they did in Africa, then it would be appropriate for Harry to have taken Meghan to Balmoral as his fiance, because of course, just mere girlfriends don't ever get the chance to go to Balmoral and meet the Queen. But as Harry's fiance, she would have done. So, it kind of fits if they were engaged. But then again, we don't even know that they are engaged, and there's no proof that she's been up there. And Harry is now back in London doing full-time royal engagements with William and Catherine. Prince George has started school. So I don't think, Harry and Meghan would be up there now. I don't really think it would have happened on the 3rd, which is as being reported. I think it is just speculative fake news based on the fact that Meghan Markle gave that Vanity Fair interview. And I think it's just that has sparked all these rumours, and there's lots of fake, unsubstantiated news flying around. So just be careful, be wary. And I will only post something if it's happened and if it's true. I mean, of course, on the live chat, they can talk about what's being speculated, but I don't like to make a video on speculation. And if I do, then I blatantly say, look, this is speculation. It may not be true. Oh dear, hello to you. You say you have sound and image. Betsy is here too. Okay, so I think hopefully I've debunked a few little rumours and fake news that's been flying around right now. Another story this week, which I'm going to make a video on, hopefully maybe tomorrow. I hope you all remember that Lord Snowdon, Princess Margaret's husband, passed away, and in his will he left his money or his estate to his children that he had in wedlock. So his he took a DNA test to prove that Penny Fry, well, to see if Penny Fry was his illegitimate love child, if you like. And she was, but he didn't leave her any money in his will. I think it was round about £3.4 million. But of course, Penny Fry, member of the famous Fry family, is independently wealthy herself. So it's not as if she's being left a pauper. But just some news that his estate was settled and Penny Fry did not get a penny. I don't think it was a snub. I think it was just a case of she has her own means, and I think she was happy to have a relationship with him in his later life, and I think that was probably good enough for her. There is also talk, and I did make a video on this, that Catherine may be favouring a home birth. And it was reported that she wanted a home birth with George, but really accepted that she wasn't able to have one with her first child, and especially when she had all this morning sickness. With Charlotte, her second pregnancy, she wanted a home birth, but at the last minute changed her mind on medical advice. So the speculation is that she may be after a home birth for baby number 3, which is a little bit more viable this time because she's had 2 unproblematic births, very straightforward. She can have all the latest medical equipment and access to doctors and everything at Kensington Palace. It can all be moved. So there isn't really a reason I can see why not. It's just whether she wants to do it or not. Of course, she would be reverting back to tradition of having a home birth at the palace. Queen Victoria had all her children as home births. So did the present Queen Elizabeth. So it wouldn't be going against type. It wouldn't be going against tradition. It would actually be a return to a long-standing tradition of royal home births. So, I mean, we only have to wait and see. So let's just do that. Let's just wait and see. Odia says you loved the ship launch, and you say it's a good video. Thank you so much. Jen says big hugs. My tea is actually really cold, well, kind of lukewarm, but I'm going to have a drink. Okay, Dawn says, what's the latest on the school breach? Have they upped security? They said that Prince George was not there at the time, and thank goodness. Yes, he wasn't there at the time. It is apparently, it was a female in her 40s, and she was a super fan of the royal family. Now, I don't know about you, but any real true fan of the royal family, I don't think would go to the extremes of breaking into a school and potentially scaring children and actually being pretty creepy. So I wouldn't quite describe her as a super fan, but maybe in her head she was a super fan. Anyway, so what happened is a couple of days prior to when she got caught, she had visited the school as a visitor. Now, I don't know under what guise. Maybe it was for a job interview. Maybe it was just to look around the school. Sometimes schools do give tours. Although I can't think why, when Prince George was about to start, I mean, security should have been at a high level anyway. But anyway, for whatever reason, she was able to get in there. She actually took some photos from inside the school, in the cloakroom and I think a storeroom. And then she was pictured loitering. Well, she was noticed loitering outside, and that's when security got alerted and the police were called and she was arrested. So maybe she wasn't of sound mind. I think that's probably a good way to put it. And at least she was caught. Nothing came to harm, but I think security has been reviewed at the school. It is within very close proximity to the main road and a main public footpath, as is most places in London. So it's quite difficult to make it completely secure, but Prince George does have his own allocated royal protection officer with him at school. Even if she had got into the classroom, Prince George was there, I very much doubt any harm would have actually come to George. So let's just hope it's triggered a new security review, lessons have been learned, and hopefully this won't happen again. David says, any news on Sarah Ferguson lately? Well, I made 2 or 3 videos this week featuring Sarah. She was also on kind of a joint engagement with Sophie Wessex, the Countess of Wessex. Now, on the official royal family Twitter page, there was no mention of Sarah. It was just that the Countess had attended the event. But so I think Sarah is still doing independent charity work. It wasn't a royal engagement, because of course she's no longer royal as such, by title anyway. So I think she's attending these events, and if they cross over with other members of the royal family, then so be it. So I think she had a really good time. It looked like she was enjoying herself. She did other engagements with Princess Eugenie. So I think she's just generally having a good time. And if you follow Sarah on Twitter, she's always attending, you know, charity events and doing lots of exciting things. So I hope to bring you in the future more Sarah news. If you'd like to see it, let me know. Do you like to see videos on Sarah, the Duchess of York, or Sarah, Duchess of York? Okay, a few people saying home births would be good. Oh dear says go and zap your tea. No, I don't know if you can do that with coffee in the microwave, but I don't think you should do it with tea. Maybe it's a British thing. I don't think you should ever re-microwave or reheat tea. I don't ever think it tastes quite the same. Maybe with coffee. The first Mrs. R says, Elliot, you are a super fan. She sounds like a super stalker. Yeah, I mean, there is a fine line between being a super fan and a stalker and it being creepy. So I would agree with you there. Odia says, interesting update on the lady who breached security. Very scary. She was pretty determined, wasn't she? Yeah, I mean, who knows exactly what her motive was? Maybe it was just to see Prince George. I really don't know. And of course, the police haven't released any information on her motive. And even if she was carrying anything on her, like a weapon, who knows? Nina says, I watched a documentary about the other Prince William. I never knew about him. Very sad. Another royal that couldn't marry for love. And of course, traditionally in the royal family, marriages weren't for love. They were for dynastic gain. And sort of spreading your DNA and gene pool out over Europe and the rest of the world. Sometimes, you know, with these arranged marriages, love came. And of course, you know, sometimes it had to develop. Sometimes love didn't come. And that's when, I suppose, the tradition of having royal mistresses, or, you know, even sometimes maybe, you know, the women taking secret, you know, male lovers, you know, wasn't unusual. But, you know, sometimes, you know, love stories did happen, and they did blossom from these arranged marriages. David says, how is London now with the increased security? I haven't been myself, so I haven't experienced it, but the security level now in general is raised to critical, which means that there are lots of extra police and security checks and everything on the streets. So, you know, an attack could be imminent, but the police are on it. And at least with that status, the critical level, everything should hopefully be under control. And I hope you all got a chance to see Inside Balmoral, which I spoke of last week. The final part, the third part, aired this week, which I watched, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it really makes me want to go to Balmoral. Do you think you would pass the Balmoral test? Do you think you'd, you know, survive a couple of months up at Balmoral, where actually you're quite isolated? You have the great Scottish rolling sort of hills and countryside, sort of shooting, hunting, fishing, picnics, no swimming pool, no overt luxuries, a palace that's kind of, well, a castle that kind of looks like it did in Victoria's day. They still have Victoria's wallpaper on the wall. The Queen refuses to get rid of it. And I think I feel the same. I think I would probably want to update it, you know, maybe some nice new carpets, maybe, you know, painting where things needed painting. And And I'm not really too keen on an armoury on the walls. If those of you who have seen, I think it's the Great Hall at Balmoral, it's got all, you know, spears and swords and all that kind of heraldic things on the wall, which is some people's taste, and not quite mine. And I don't think I'd get rid of them, but maybe I'd pack them away and maybe invite, if I was redecorating Balmoral, I think I would want to get, I'd keep the theme of it being really Scottish. I think I'd keep the tartan. I think I'd probably keep Victoria's wallpaper. Maybe update the flooring, the carpets. The soft furnishings could be recovered. You know, furniture could be restored to former glory. I'm not saying it's not now, but you know, you could have things restored. But in terms of artwork on the wall, you know, you could get lots of people that are prominent in Scotland today to do some Scottish art for a very Scottish Balmoral. That might be a nice idea. So yeah, if I was at Balmoral, if it was mine, I may make a few changes. But I do like the whole sort of ethos of Balmoral. It's private, the royals can relax, they can have a good time, they can really get away from London and all the royal engagements over the summer. And of course the Queen spends August, September and most of October there. So of course she's still up there now. They attend things like the Braemar Games, and they do a lot. They visit the local town of Ballater quite a lot, which is fiercely protective of the monarchy. The local people kind of really protect them and don't like to talk a lot about them when media gets involved. The first Mrs. R says, you're very interested in both Sarah and Andrew. Linda would like lots more news on Sarah, as would Glenys. H.A. Bracken's birthday is next Saturday. Oh, I'll have to remember, well, remind me, and I will wish you happy birthday next Saturday. Odia says, you're probably right about the tea. I don't like doing it to my coffee either, but needs must sometimes. Betsy says, my thoughts on the Vanity Fair article. Well, I haven't read it. I've only read outtakes and snippets of it that have been leaked. I haven't actually seen it. But I do think it was one of those kind of intermediary wildcard moves. It's not usually done. It was done with the agreement of Kensington Palace. So she didn't, you know, go and talk to the press behind Harry's back. It wasn't any of that. It was an agreed interview. And I think it was designed to kind of half confirm the relationship. May have had an idea to kind of stop the speculation a little bit, and it has kind of half quelled the speculation. We know it's serious, and it kind of hints at an engagement's on the cards. But I think it allows them to put that engagement back. I think it would have been September, October. I think with Meghan's work for Suits, once all that's complete, which I think is round about December time, it leaves them free to make the announcement round about December, possibly January. Again, we don't know, it is speculation. So I think it was a good move. I think it's bought them some time, and it's sort of half quelled things a little bit. It also will enable her to perhaps accompany him a lot more on the upcoming Invictus Games, which is, of course, Canada, which he's taking part in next week. So I think it'll allow her to take more of an active role at his side in the Invictus Games. And an announcement before Christmas at Sandringham would be good, because then Meghan could openly attend Sandringham as Harry's fiance. And of course, the same as at Balmoral, only a fiance can accompany your royal counterpart, your future royal spouse. So I'm thinking that an announcement may now, because of the Vanity Fair interview, have been pushed back to December, which is kind of what the royal chef predicted, but he predicted it for different reasons. He thought December because of not conflicting with different royal events. And I said, no, I don't think it's that, because there's a window in September, October, which is what this interview, I think, has kind of done. It's done the September, October thing, but it's allowed them now, because of her work with Suits, to push the announcement back to December, I think. So I think we'll probably get an announcement maybe towards the start of December. Once everything Suits has finished and done, I think she'll be free to make that announcement. What do you think? Let me know. James says, 2 weeks at Balmoral in the Highlands. Heaven, I'm sure. And you think the bedrooms might be comfy. I think so too. I think Balmoral is a little bit like the royal family's collective comfy pair of slippers. You know, not much, you know, the world around them changes, but Balmoral pretty much stays the same. Pretty much from Victoria's day, you know, everything is, it's a well-oiled machine, and I think the Queen likes the fact that it's very traditional and not much has changed. I think Charles may update it slightly, a little bit like he did with Clarence House when he took it over from the Queen Mother, although at Burke Hall, which he took over from the Queen Mother, which is also on the Balmoral estate, so he stays at Burke Hall when he's at Balmoral with Camilla. He left that pretty much as a shrine to the Queen Mother. He's even got the same curtains, carpets, everything. So I don't think he did much updating there. But I do think he may slightly update the castle. Who knows? Okay, Jamie says, the Tsar of Russia once described Balmoral as being colder than the ends of Siberia. Well, being someone who actually likes the cold, I think I'd like it quite a lot. Okay, the first Mrs. R says, I love the show. Do I think I would? Probably. You come from a family that goes to, I have to lean in to see that, to cabins and hunt for fun. So you think you'd like it. I think I'd like it too, although I don't think I'd be the sort of person that could shoot maybe a stag. I mean, I get the whole idea about, you know, managed land management, and, you know, that culls are needed to kind of protect the food chain. You can't have too much at the top, you know, and these animals are bred so that they, you know, that there is a surplus of them so they can be hunted. I get that. I get it's part of the land management. But do I think I could actually pull the trigger and end the life of, for example, a stag? I don't think I could. I think I'd like all the camaraderie of going out and maybe the thrill of the chase, but I don't think I could actually pull the trigger. If it was something like grouse or pheasants, I think maybe I could, at a push, do that. Although I think I'd be a terrible shot, because I kind of see them a little bit more like, you know, a chicken. I mean, every chicken that you see in the supermarket has been killed for you to eat, and there are plenty of them. I know a life is a life, but I kind of see the pheasants and chickens and things as slightly different. But, you know, a beautiful, majestic stag, I don't think I could quite hunt that. But I think I'd certainly enjoy the royal picnics and the walking and the hiking, and maybe fishing. Maybe I could take up fishing. Okay, I think I've missed a few questions, so I'm going to go straight back up. Okay. Oh dear says, I find the interior of Balmoral interesting, but too many dead animals for me hanging all over the place. That's kind of what I think for me too, and I'm not really keen on, for example, swords on the wall or spears or that kind of thing. Dawn says, I would keep the main common areas the same, but would make sure that the private areas like bedroom would be updated, and each have to their own taste. Yes, I think that's a really good idea too. I think I'd do that as well. The first Mrs. R said you would spruce up much of the decor. And Coach says, question, someone may have already asked, but has Meghan Markle actually met the Queen? I did speak about it earlier, but I'll say it again really quickly. It's pure speculation. There's no proof. Harry hasn't been spotted up there for ages. Meghan Markle wasn't spotted up there. He's back now in London doing royal duties. They spent ages on an African holiday. I don't really think they would have had the time to squeeze it in, and I'm sure somebody somewhere would have got a shot or at least verbal confirmation that she was there, and nothing of that sort has happened. So no one can say for sure that she has or she hasn't. There's a chance, you know, if they did actually get engaged, then there's a chance that she could have gone, but we just don't know. So tentatively, I'm going to say just watch this space, you know, and if anyone does know of any photographs or information that may prove or disprove it, do let me know, and I will take a look at it. The first Mrs. R says, I enjoyed the story of Prince Philip's first trip there. It seems he was always a man who danced to his own tune. Yes, and of course he did pass the Balmoral test, which is, you know, what potential girlfriends or husbands are kind of expected to do, kind of an unofficial test, the Balmoral test, to see if they've got the stuff that the family think is needed to join the firm. Dawn says Prince Harry is also going to be at the Duke of Edinburgh's presentations here in Canada. Well, of course, Harry is going to Canada for the Invictus Games. So, you know, and I think he is taking on some other little engagements outside of the Invictus Games too. So he could pop up in a few places. So just, you know, if you're in Toronto, look out for Harry. He could be there. Dawn says, are there any pictures of inside Burkhall Cottage? I have seen some, but I can't remember where I saw them. So maybe I could try and find them again. I don't think there was many. I think I remember seeing possibly a living room with some old kind of tatty curtains that Prince Charles refused to change. I mean, and they were quite tatty. Of course, the royals, when they're away on holiday, they quite like things to be rustic, and these curtains were definitely rustic, and I believe that Prince Charles refused to change them. I think Camilla wanted to. I think most people would probably want to, but no, he said he liked them. It reminded them of his grandmother for some strange reason, and he wanted to keep them. So if I can find some photographs, I might make a video on that. Okay, Meg says, Catherine never goes to Africa or poor countries, only rich countries. I wouldn't quite say that. I mean, she did go to India and Bhutan. And I know, you know, you can't say that all of India or Bhutan is a poor area, but, you know, she did visit poorer areas within those countries. So I don't think that's quite fair to say. So she has visited in almost any country that she has been to, I suppose, you know, poorer, more humbler areas within those countries and on those visits. So, you know, I don't think she's been that much to Africa. I think that's, you know, fair to say. She did go there for, well, to get her engagement. So she has been there, but she doesn't quite go as much as William and Harry do. I think that is probably fair to say. And Melody says, I can't picture Meghan hunting. Funnily enough, neither can I. But who knows? She might do. She might take to country life. Do you reckon we'll see a reinvented Meghan, or as some people might think, she might return to her real name of Rachel? So do you think you'll see a more countrified Rachel or Meghan? The first Mrs. R says, I think an announcement will either come right before the Christmas holidays. I think so, possibly too, but after the royal 70th anniversary. Yes, I would agree with that too. Or as I said before, right at the start of the year. But then it would be fairly hard at the start of the year to hide the fact that she was at Sandringham for Christmas. Unless, of course, she plans to spend Christmas with her family, in which case they would be apart anyway. So that would mean a January announcement would be quite good, really. So yes, possibly slightly before Christmas, maybe at the very, very start of the new year. Let's wait and see. Okay, Ruth says about the upcoming Invictus Games. Too bad Harry can't trash talk in good fun like he did with the Obamas. The mic drop with the Queen was so cute. Trump would take it personally. Do you think so? Do you think Trump would take that personally? Maybe Trump's got a good sense of humour. I don't know. Or as he says, I would not know. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Let's hope the mic drop doesn't hit the nuclear button. The first Mrs. R says, I don't mind the shooting. I will admit that I prefer it if the others do the dressing. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I could probably go along on a hunt, but I'd be kind of peeking when the shooting bit was going on, probably. Nerve Nana says, hello. So hello to you. Nina says, is there any reason now at this point that Prince Harry is keeping silent about his relationship with Meghan? I think the Vanity Fair interview was supposed to end a lot of the talk about their relationship. I don't think it has. I think it's kind of raised the bar slightly. But I do think it's cemented the fact that they are a real serious couple, and I think it has quelled a little bit of the engagement talk, kind of, in a way, because I think now people are just kind of waiting for the actual engagement to come out. Treat the Vanity Fair interview as a bit of a precursor, and I think if you do that, then you kind of get what it's all about, with it being in context. Oh dear says, Harry could joke around with our Prime Minister during the Invictus Games. I don't think it would be appropriate having Trump as the... Yes, because Trump is USA and Trudeau is Canada. Oh dear says, I missed Prince Philip's first trip to Balmoral. Is it a video you made? Oh, no. It's a 3-part documentary which has just been shown in the UK called Inside Balmoral, and it shows all the different stages from Queen Victoria up to present day about the story of Balmoral and how the royals use and love and interact with Balmoral and how Balmoral fits into the local community of Royal Deeside. It's really good. I don't know if it's available in your country or available on YouTube, but if you can find it, Inside Balmoral, it is really, really good. And one of the stories is where they talk about Prince Philip's first visit, and he decided to wear a kilt, basically. Yeah, and he sort of performed a little curtsy to King George VI, who didn't appreciate it. But of course, that's Philip's sense of humour, and I'm sure the Queen found it very funny. Linda says, I think you said Meghan could have the title Princess Rachel of Wales. Would the Queen give out a new title on their wedding, such as the Earl or Countess? What's your guess? No, I didn't say she'd be Princess Rachel of Wales. What I said was she may revert back to using her real name as Rachel. So think pre-marriage, she may go from Meghan to Rachel, or she may keep Meghan. Usually what happens is that a royal prince is given a dukedom before marriage. So before the wedding ceremony, Harry would likely be given a dukedom, possibly the Duke of Sussex. If that's the case, then upon marriage, Meghan would become Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. She wouldn't be Princess Rachel, she wouldn't be Princess Meghan, she'd be Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. If, for some reason, Harry wasn't given a dukedom, she would be known as Her Royal Highness, the Princess Henry of Wales. Pretty much the same way the Princess Michael of Kent is known as the Princess Michael of Kent, because her husband, Prince Michael of Kent, wasn't given a dukedom. And his father was the Duke of Kent. Now his brother is the Duke of Kent, but he still holds on to that of Kent moniker. So that's why he is Prince Michael of Kent, and Princess Michael of Kent is the Princess Michael of Kent. So, but we do think that Harry will get a dukedom. So the most likely title is a Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. Elaine says, miss the start. I hope Catherine is feeling better. Well, she was offered an avocado for her morning sickness. And I'm glad you did miss the start of the chat, because it was a complete nightmare. I lost 38 minutes through technical difficulties. James says, Trump does not have a good humour. And Jamie says, Garden House in Windsor. Just remembered that's in the book. Yes, the Garden House in Windsor, I think, unless it's already been given out to someone, which I don't think it has, could be a potential royal home for Meghan and Harry. Maybe. Betsy says, Catherine was in South America for her gap year in the same programme before William. Yes, that was true. That was very true. Anna says, do you think Meghan and Harry could marry next year? I think it's highly likely. Jen says, Queen Mother does not like her. Well, the Queen Mother, if we're talking about Meghan, the Queen Mother's sadly passed away in 2002. So she's never even met Meghan. If we're talking about the Queen, again, fake news, pure speculation. We do not even know that Meghan has met the Queen. So do not listen to the rumours. Deborah says, I sure hope I can hear this chat in repeat. First time this has happened for the whole entire no sound. Okay, I can only say from my own experience tonight, please keep refreshing if you can't hear or see me. If you are having real troubles, try and open it in Chrome, because the chat window for me wasn't working with Internet Explorer. I had to go into Chrome. Maybe YouTube has made some changes. So do try Chrome. James says, forgot to mention you're looking impeccable tonight. Thank you so much. In fact, I was actually planning on being really, really, really naughty and buying 5 new brooches, but I priced them up from the official Buckingham Palace website. They're the ones that I don't have. And I thought, should I just get all 5 of them? And I priced them up and they were so expensive. So I haven't, but I'm still toying with the idea. Let me know, do you think I should? Should I just get them? Let me know what you think. I think it was almost, close on £500, which is probably close on $700. Do you think I should? Let me know. I'm also planning on sending the Duchess of Cambridge and Prince William a congratulations baby card and seeing if I get a reply. So do you think I should do that? I really want to. I think I should. And of course, I'm planning the upcoming Christmas cards. And I should also say that time is running out if you want a Christmas card from me, a handwritten signed photograph, handwritten message inside. If you want one, you have to go to Patreon rather, Patreon, and become a $10 a month or over subscriber before the end of September. The cutoff point is the end of September, because otherwise I'll have posted them out and you won't get one. You will not get one for Christmas. So my posting window is a little bit after that. So if you want one, the end of September is your cutoff point. And then if you carry on being a patron and it comes up to your birthday, you will also get a birthday card as well. So if you would like that as a reward, as a gift, then head over to Patreon. Okay, Nina says they should be the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. More fitting, although I still think that Windsor has, as a title, has a few negative connotations still with the Queen. So I don't think that title will be used in her lifetime. James says the Duke of Sussex sounds great. I think it's most likely to be that one, although Clarence is available, which Steve has just said. And I also quite like Clarence. Nina likes Clarence too. Ruth says, even if she uses the name Rachel, I wonder if people will refer to her as Meghan. probably, in the same way people call Catherine Kate. Yes, probably. I mean, it's going to be quite hard to get people to change from Meghan to Rachel. But who knows, over time it may happen, it may stick. James says the Duke of Carnarvon. It's a good one, but I highly doubt it. Don't forget, Harry may also get an earldom and a baron title, such as William has. So there could also be other combinations. Candice says, because Meghan's name on Suits is Rachel, I'm thinking she might continue using Meghan. Good point. And having never seen Suits, you know, maybe you have certainly a point there. But then again, in the media, she's known lots as Meghan Markle. So maybe, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Okay. Anita says, I think Meghan and Harry will get married end of next year, since the main focus would be the new baby. I don't think it will clash with new baby. Maybe in the summer. Perhaps the summer. Steve says, yes, go for the brooches. The first Mrs. R says, can you tell us about this week's brooch? Well, I've worn it before. It's the flower basket brooch. The Queen often wears this, and I really like the different coloured stones. There's pink stones, red stones, yellow stones, green stones, all different colour stones, diamond colours, and it really has a fantastic sparkle. I hope you can see. Probably not because it's really zoomed in. Hopefully I can get the zoom sorted for next week. Odious says, I don't mind spending your money, and of course would love to see the brooches. Do send the card for the new baby, and of course I will send it like I did the Christmas cards on behalf of the Royal Reviewer family. I did say in the previous one that it was on behalf of all of you and all of my viewers. James says, or Jamie says, get them. You can use Patreon money, of course. I mean, that's, you know, partly what Patreon is for. It's to raise some funds so that I can do opening videos or, you know, go to places on location. So maybe I should just do it. I really was toying with the idea. Maybe I need more encouragement to do it. Okay, Candice says, you spelled Meghan incorrectly. Don't worry. Jen says the Queen does not like her. We don't know that. We can't say that. Nina says the basket brooch is your favourite. And Elaine says, I would get them. We enjoy seeing them and you will enjoy wearing them. Yes, if I got all of them, I would then have 11. So I could have an 11-week cycle of brooches, which would be really good. Dawn says, wow, that's a lot for the brooches. It is indeed, which is why I'm still toying with the idea. Meg says she does like her. Again, we don't know. We really don't know what the Queen thinks about Meghan. You know, you can have your own personal opinion about Meghan, but we really don't know. Okay, the first Mrs. R says, get all 5 brooches, but don't forget Christmas is coming, and maybe you don't have to buy all of them. That's a good point. Maybe I could have some for Christmas. Oh dear says, please let us know when you have opened your post office box. We can pop things in the mail. I'm still planning it ready for Christmas. Oh, by the way, guys, I needed to tell you something exciting. Well, kind of exciting. It is exciting. Do you remember probably 6-7 months ago, I made a video about Prince Charles visiting a brewery where he tried some craft ales. And basically the CEO of the craft ale company that he visited sent me an email telling me that he liked my video on their craft ale business and that he would like to send me some samples of the ale that Prince Charles sampled. So that would be brilliant. So I really want to get my PO box so that I can receive that and I can do maybe a live tasting, sampling video of this craft ale. So I will be able to taste exactly what Prince Charles tastes, and I will give you my honest verdict and opinion on this craft ale. I'm sure it's really, really lovely. Prince Charles seemed to like it. Maybe I will too, who knows. So that's kind of exciting, and another reason for me to get the PO box really quick. Okay, Betsy says, your lovely birthday card, which I sent you, is proudly on your mantelpiece. I'm really pleased that you liked it. And I really enjoy sending them. It feels really good when I'm sending them out. So yes, if you want a Christmas card too, Betsy's already in line to get one because she's still a $10 a month or over patron on Patreon. So Betsy will definitely receive her card in the post. Lady Buckingham, or Dawn, said the Duke and Duchess of Buckingham. That's what she'd like Harry and Meghan to be. James says they will have to wait till you kick the bucket. As oh, yes, because Lady Buckingham has the Lady Buckingham title. Baby names. James thinks Helena or John for royal baby number 3. I'm thinking maybe Victoria. I mean, we did speak briefly about this last week. Possibly Victoria, maybe Arthur. Maybe Victoria or Arthur. Candice says, if you can afford the brooches at this time, then go ahead. Otherwise, it's always best to save up. And that's your frugal voice. I kind of agree with you on that one. Okay, Glennis says, yes, I can change the video camera in settings. Well, I don't know how. So maybe after this chat, I will figure it out so that when I open it up in Chrome again next week, because I don't think YouTube is going to correct the changes it's made, then I won't be so zoomed in. So I do apologise if you've just joined and you've got a great whacking version of me. I do apologise. Okay, Kimberly says, hi everyone, late but just came from your parents' house. So hello and welcome. You've had homemade banana bread. Wow. I wish I could have some. Okay, Moon Mom says, I like the Duke and Duchess of Buckingham best. Well, maybe we started a new trend. Maybe Buckingham. I think it would have to be a creative title though. Because isn't it? It's possibly gone extinct now, that title. James says, are there a lot of horses at Balmoral? Yes, the Queen does keep horses at Balmoral. And yes, she does ride on the estate, although she does also like a morning walk. Moon Mom says, get the brooches. James says, that's so cool about the ale. So does H.A. Bracken. Odia says, good going regarding the craft ale business. We have great material for a terrific video. Yes, hopefully, they'll send it. But apparently, the ale that Prince Charles tried is from a casket, or a cask. What I think it's called a casket. Whatever those big barrel things that ale is in. So I think they'd have to bottle some up for me, which is fine. I'm sure it'll still be lovely. So hopefully, I really have no idea what it's going to taste like. So hopefully it will be fabulous. But of course, I will let you know exactly. Well, you'll see my reaction when I'm drinking it. Rita says, I most certainly would survive at Balmoral as long as I could explore outside. Well, you could, because they have 50,000 acres of land at Balmoral. So you could most definitely explore in private. Anita says, if Harry and Meghan do get married in the summer, how difficult would it be for Kate carrying a baby around? Well, she would have had the baby before the summer. We're thinking April. Was it March or April for her due date, depending on how far gone she is. So a summer birth would be fine. Jamie says, if you put yourself back in your shoes a year ago, could you have imagined the channel would have become this big? No. I remember it was literally my 1-year chat anniversary a couple of weeks ago, And I remember just kind of coming on with my phone camera and saying, hello, is anyone there? And there wasn't anyone there for a long time, and then I had just 5 viewers for the entire chat. So no, I really didn't think it would become this big. So thank you to everyone for all of your support, and everyone who keeps coming back week after week for the live chats. I really do enjoy this part of the Royal Reviewer channel, and of course I like making the weekly on. It's actually become almost daily videos now. In fact, sometimes more than once a day, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day videos. But I really do like making different videos and trying different things. So who knows what's to come in the future, in the next year. OGA says royal weddings are usually during good summer weather. I think wasn't William and Catherine's in April? Possibly. I think it was April. Susan says you look cool. Thank you so much. Glenys is suggesting the Duke of Oxford. Kimberly says, Elliot, come on over and have another loaf of banana bread just waiting for you. Thank you so much. I really wish I could reach out and take it. Some more royal baby name suggestions are Diana or Arthur. I'm thinking possibly Arthur. James says, Lady B, you're too royal not to have a title. Kimberly says, I still like Rachel. I think I prefer that name too, actually. Glennon says it's a keg is what it's stored in. Of course. Okay, so it's in a keg. So I think if they're going to send me a bottle or bottles of whatever Prince Charles sampled, it'll have to be decanted from the keg thing. I'm not actually a humongous alcohol drinker, but of course I will give you my my full and honest opinion. And I'm certainly good at tasting flavours, so I will let you know if it's flavoursome. Okay, James Med4 says, the Duke of Buckingham is a character in the Three Musketeers. Well, there you go. It's a title in the Three Musketeers, which I haven't read. Kimberly says, but I really think Catherine is going to have a little girl. I think girl too. That's my prediction. Nina says, I can't wait to see her baby bump. Well, she usually takes a while before she shows, so maybe I have to wait a little longer yet. Amina, sorry, I've been calling you Anita. I can't see the name. Amina says, are newborn babies allowed to be present at royal weddings? Well, there's nothing stopping them, but they probably usually aren't because they're too young. So royal baby number 3 would probably be left at home on that occasion. Okay, Ms. 31 says, hi Elliot. Sorry, I think you already answered this, but I wasn't there. Any news about Harry and Meghan's possible engagement? Just the Vanity Fair interview, and yes, I did speak about it earlier, but just really quickly, there's nothing concrete yet. We think possibly December for an announcement, maybe even January, but we really do just have to wait. Oh dear. But also, if it's not announced before the royals arrive at Sandringham for Christmas and we see Meghan there, then we know that she is engaged because only fiancés are allowed. So that would kind of give the game away. So I'm tentatively going for before Sandringham. So possibly early December, mid-December. Jamie says the baby due date could be around Trooping the Colour. Imagine if it was born on the day. Imagine. The world's media wouldn't know where to go. OGS says, I can't imagine you having a keg party. Well, I will have a decanted keg. Jamie says, maybe they'll send you a whole keg. I don't think they'd send me a whole keg. I don't think I could drink a whole keg. I certainly couldn't drink a whole keg or straight from the keg live on air. Definitely not. Glenys says a keg holds about 70 pints. I don't think they're going to send me 70. I don't think I want 70 pints. I just when they asked me what I'd like, I said, well, I think my viewers are mainly going to be interested in whatever Prince Charles sampled. So I think they're just going to send me some samples, some sample bottles of whatever Prince Charles sampled, which I think, you know, is really interesting, and I can't wait to try it. Becky says, hi from the USA, hello to you, and hello to you wherever you are, in fact. Melody says, I was curious what kind of a mother Princess Margaret was. Well, as you know, her children have turned out really good and well-adjusted human beings, I can imagine quite a good mother. Certainly seemed very loving to me. Glenys says, you're in London. Well, hello to you in London. MS31 says, thank you very much. You're so professional. Thank you so much for that comment. The first Mrs. R says, do you think Harry will have William stand up with him? I remember that Charles had Andrew, but Andrew had Edward. Yes, I think Harry will, William will be involved at the wedding, most definitely. Probably the best man. James Med says, I just realised George and Charlotte may be in the bridal party for Uncle Harry. Harry sounds like such a fun uncle. He does, and I think he is, and I think he'll make a great dad and a great father when he's able to do so. Becky says, I think Alexander or Alexandria or Alice. I was thinking Alice as well, actually. Alice was another one on my list. Amina says, if Harry does get married in the summer, poor baby number 3 won't be present for his or her uncle's wedding. I think they'd be too young anyway to remember, so I don't really think it matters that much. Betsy says, cake party at Elliot's. Bring your beavers. No beavers are allowed in this house. I'm banning beavers. Candice says, Alexandra Victoria Carol might be on the card. I don't think they're going to go for Carol. Jamie is chugging. Chug, 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 chug. I am not going to get drunk live on air. Okay, oh dear says, bring your beaver tails. Probably go well with the ale. No beavers, especially pregnant, especially ones of the pregnant variety. Alice would be such a cool name, says oh dear. And James says, if Catherine goes to Canada, will she be referred to as a Royal Highness pregnant beaver? No, most definitely not. No pregnant beavers. Okay, Kimberly says, wish a new age progression photo was done for Prince George and Princess Charlotte. Really curious what they would look like. Well, I mean, of course, new age progression photos can be done. It'd be interesting to see if one was done, if they did actually end up looking like the prediction. But I'm afraid that's a bit too much for me in terms of doing a progression photo. I think you need proper technology for that. No, I definitely don't think Carol is going to be on the cards. Oh, Prince Harry turned 33 this week. So wishing Prince Harry a very happy birthday. I did make a happy birthday video showing a few photos of Harry as a youngster with his mother Diana, and pretty much I chose photos from the last couple of years, especially 2016, 2017 photos, just to show, you know, what how his life is now, and lots of happy memories from today's time. So a big happy 33rd birthday to Prince Harry, and I hope you all really enjoyed that video. Upcoming events. Let me get my diary, because mainly the upcoming week will be spent with the Invictus Games. Tomorrow, Sunday, we're expecting the Queen and Royals at church at Crappy Kirk, so hopefully another arriving at church video. There's also, it's the 77th anniversary of the Battle of Britain, which there's going to be a commemoration ceremony, and Charles and Camilla are going to attend that. I don't have any dates down in the week, but hopefully there will be royal engagements in the week. Prince Harry flies off to Toronto for the Invictus Games on Friday the 22nd and stays there until the 30th of September, which is on a live chat day. So hopefully I'll be able to bring you the culminating news of the Invictus Games on the 30th. So it looks like there's a few good things coming up, and especially tomorrow. Becky says, have they figured out what the lady was doing in George's school? Well, they described her as a super fan, so I'm imagining just trying to get a look, maybe even have a conversation with Prince George, possibly. James says, or Jamie says, Princess Carol sounds like a stage name. I definitely don't think Carol is going to be in the baby name. Dave says, oh, you're back. Good morning from Sydney. Yes, for those of you who kind of turned up to the technology problems, it appeared to be that for some reason YouTube is not letting internet, if you launch chat through Internet Explorer, it's not showing the chat window. I don't know if that is just a bug or whether it's a permanent thing, but I reopened the chat in Chrome and I was able to access the chat window. But the result is that it's really zoomed in and I have no idea how to get out of it. So I do apologize for the very zoomed in face. It wasn't intended to be like that. Moon Mom says that was really scary about the break-in. It was indeed. Jamie's thinking possibly Princess May. Possibly Princess Mary. Could be a Mary or a Victoria or Alice. Kimberly says, I hope one of Harry's future children might have his red hair. I think Harry's kids will be adorable. Well, I think so too. Amina says, do William and Catherine live in London now? They've always had they've had a home there since they were married. They were in the cottage that Harry is in now, called Nottingham Cottage, whilst apartment 1A, Princess Margaret's old, well, I say apartment, it's a big, massive slab of Kensington Palace. So it's almost like a whole wing, and it's nearest to the clock tower. So they live in Princess Margaret's old wing, apartment 1A at Kensington Palace, and they lived in the Nottingham Cottage while it was being refurbed. It's been refurbed for a while now, and that's been their London home. Their country home, which has been their main home, is at Admiral Hall, which is on the Queen's Norfolk estate of Sandringham. So that's been their main home, and then they've been coming to London when they've needed to. However, because of George's starting school, they switched. So London is now their main home. So Monday to Friday, they're pretty much in London. Anna is probably going to be used in the future for more of a weekend retreat and possibly school holidays. And maybe whenever they can get a chance to go there. But London is their main primary home from now on. It's their base. Let's put it that way. Glennis says, go to your video camera settings and there is a zoom tab. The problem I've got is that I don't know how to do it, basically. I don't know where they are, and I don't want to start fiddling with the camera in case I knock it all out. I mean, I have just tried to have a little look, but I really don't want to start fiddling with it. So I do apologise for tonight's look, but it's going to have to stay that way for now, I'm afraid. Dawn says, missed my question. Why can they not use the Middleton side for names? Well, they can, but the thing is, they haven't necessarily. I mean, I think there was a nod to Pippa with Charlotte's name. I think there was, but they kind of haven't. And if you look at, I mean, they could go for Michael if it's a boy. I mean, you know, Michael has been a royal name too. So that there's no rules that they can't, but they kind of haven't so far. So I'm thinking that they're probably sticking more towards the traditional royal names. Like I say, that's gone on from Prince George's name and Princess Charlotte's names. James Med said, "Oh, Prince Spencer sounds good." They could potentially go for Spencer, maybe. Dawn says James and Michael are in the royal family. Yes, I would agree with that. Possibly a James. I quite like the name James. Like I say, there is no hard, fast rule. They don't have to go one way or the other. But you know, historically for them, they haven't. They've gone for traditional royal names. But yes, James and Michael are in the royal family too. Kimberly wishes she could have had some of her ancestors' names, such as Elizabeth and Thomas Kent. James Metaphor says, "Is Pippa her legal name?" I think her legal name is Philippa, and Pippa is her sort of abbreviated name. Okay, I am going to end the chat this week right now. I do apologise for the earlier technical difficulties. So I hope you've enjoyed this live chat nonetheless. And hopefully I will have everything sorted by next week. Or hopefully YouTube will have everything sorted by next week. So, have an amazing week. And I really hope that you enjoy my videos. And I hope that you come back to see me next week for another live weekly chat. So, from me in Shropshire, goodbye.